Hey guys, Colin McClutter of the StockMarketBasics.com, and here we are with our daily stock picks for August 28th, 2013. After the trading day yesterday, we mentioned to our viewers and subscribers that TASR International is on the list for today, and through kind of the research that we found, it looked like it could continue to have a nice move. Just got home. It's 10:30 here in Japan. The market's just opening. As you can see from the pre-market action, the stock's already down 3.21%. Now currently trading at, but now it's at 11.45 a share. We're gonna kind of watch. We're gonna just wait and kind of watch what it does over the last bit, and just kind of see if it can, rally up tick per tick on the 2-minute chart. What I believe to be happening is traders who got in at a lower position were, beginning to sell off and kind of take their profits, and most likely throughout this morning, so it's already dropped to 11.38, and we got our first tick on the chart here. But after it drops quite a bit, I'm most likely aiming to buy in once the stock begins to spike over the 2-minute tick mark. So we're just going to kind of watch the candlesticks and see what happens, and when we see if and when we see a good time to enter, we're going to enter this trade and make some money. So far on the trading day, we've had a low here of, if we look on the last tick, we had a low here so far of 11.24. As you can see from kind of the movement that's happening right now, the stock is kind of bumping up and down. We had to go down to 23. It's back up 29. We're just going to kind of watch for a rally. Once the tick can actually beat on this last candlestick bar, the high here was, what was it here? It was 11.50. So we're going to try and kind of beat 11.50. It's going back up here. It's at 11.37, 11.36. We're just going to kind of continue to watch it for the next couple of ticks. It's at 11.85, and here we're going to buy it. So most likely, those of you who had planned to buy in, the stock kind of jumped up and down there, but we're buying in now. For those of you who can get in at 11.40, get 11.36, get in now. We're having some nice movement right now. It's at 11.44 again. It's on its way up. Get in now. From the action we've seen so far, right now it's at 11.66. For those of you who did listen and bought in, we're just going to continue to watch it rally up, and once we see signs of resistance, we're going to sell off and wait for our next chance to buy in. 11.64, it's on its way up right now. For those of you kind of still watching this stock, we've been, when we first started, we kind of had a major drop. We bought in, and now we're kind of rocking around the 11.43 mark. Now, if you look at this sixth candlestick, it's kind of bounced even. It wasn't able to beat the 11.68 high, but it was able to get a high of 11.55. So even though the candlestick didn't actually surpass the last candlestick, we're still going to hold on, see what happens. It hit even, and it's already up to 11.52, which is, I think, which is doing decent. So we're just going to kind of ride it up. The next candlestick, it kind of went down a little bit, but on this next chart here, we're up to 11.56. For those of you who did buy in around 11.38, if you want to sell out, it could be a good time for sure. We got into this trade, I think, around 11.38. I think around 11.38. So, and even though we're already up 13 cents, I'm willing to ride it for the next 20 minutes or so. So a few minutes ago, it was bouncing around the 11.40, 11.36. Now it's bouncing around the 11.50 mark. So if you can see, it's up to 11.57. Depending on how the next 2-minute candlesticks work out, I'm either going to continue to ride the trade, or I'm going to sell out. I'm pretty confused about what I should do right now. I bought in 11.38, so if I should right now take my 20 cents a share, or if I can continue to ride it up. Now it's basically going to depend on the next few candlesticks. As you can see, it's back to 1161, which, as you can see from the next candlestick that kind of jumped up here, it's got its next hold. So I'm going to continue to hold on. It's here now. It's bouncing around the 1158, 1166 mark here, and I'm waiting for this next candlestick to see what happens. And for those of you guys trading this stock, don't worry about the price movements at the top. Just worry about what's happening with the candlestick patterns. And as long as the stick keeps kind of moving up, stick with the stock. As soon as you see it kind of bouncing down hard, you're going to want to get the fuck out and wait for your next opportunity. We've got our next candlestick here, and it's really kind of showing, you know, a nice movement in range movement in price up. On this next candlestick, we had a high of 1166.4 with a low of 1153. If we look at the previous candlestick on the chart here, we had a high of 1157 and a low of 1141. And the previous here, we had a high of 1150 and a low of 1137. So it's slowly moving up, and due to this the latest 2-minute candlestick, we're going to hold on to this stock a little bit longer. Even though for any of you who followed the trade and bought in at 1138 or 19 cents up at the moment, if you really want to grab that 19 cents on an intraday trade, it's totally acceptable, and I totally have praise for you. You know, grab up your 19 cents a share. But for those of you willing to risk a little bit more and kind of ride it up until it shows, you know, the price going back down again, that's fine too. The next candlestick for the 2-minute charts just bumped in, and it hit lower than what we were hoping for, and the stock's starting to drop. It's at 1148, 1149 now. Now, as you can see from the chart here at the bottom from the candlesticks, it ended up a little bit lower than before. So if it goes down a little bit more, we're going to sell out right away. But for this small decline, we're going to kind of see this as a leveling off. You know, for a lot of you, you could have sold out before at a high of around 1164. But for those of you who are continuing with this, you know, there's no problem with that. For those of you who did buy in at 1138, you know, we're already up 9 cents, 10 cents a share right now. So we're just going to kind of see what the next few candlesticks do. Our next candlestick is kind of showing huge decreases in price. So for those of you who did buy in, we're going to most likely want to sell off. It's back to 1149 here. It could be rallying up a little bit, 1151. Basically right now I've got my finger on the sell button. We're up to 1152. Depending on what happens in the next few seconds, we'll either be exiting our trade and waiting for another chance to get back in, or we'll be holding on longer. It basically depends on your risk. But for those of you guys following this stock so far, we've had multiple chances to gain profit, and it all basically depends on how much you're willing to risk and what your target prices are. I'd like to kind of ride the candlesticks and kind of see what happens. Now, this second candlestick, if you look at the chart here, it's kind of on its way back down. It's at 1152 here, and it is totally up to you. If you want to sell off and make, you know, that's what, 14, 15 cents, then you should do so for sure. If you're willing to hold on a little bit longer and kind of see what happens over the next 20 minutes of the market, it's all up to you. My name is Colin McLeod with StockMarketBasics.com, and make sure to tune in to our stock picks for August 29th, 2013, tomorrow's market. And if you have any questions about the stock market, day trading, etc., feel free to drop a comment below or shoot by my website and shoot me an email. Thanks for watching.